You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, this is AJ from KK's Priest, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bodfather, and always I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's a huge honor and privilege to welcome AJ Mills of KK's Priest, and they will release their second album entitled The Sinner Rides Again on September 29th via Napalm Records. The Sinner Rides Again is the follow-up to 2021 debut album, Sermons of the Sinner, and they also have these singles out right now that you want to go check out. One More Shot at Glory, Reap the Whirlwind, and Strike of the Viper. So, AJ, welcome to the podcast, and how are you doing, my friend?
Hey, man, how's it going? I'm doing all good, thank you. Just rocking on a Friday night. About to get my drink on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's jump right into this, man. How excited are you guys to have this second album entitled The Sinner Rides Again, coming out on September 29th again via Napalm Records? And did the album turn out exactly the way you guys wanted it to?
Absolutely, yeah. It all went to plan. You know, KK had a clear plan of how we wanted this second album to sound. The vision was all there. The songs were there, the title. And we figured, seeing as though we couldn't go out and play off the first record because of the whole COVID thing, we thought we may as well do another record, and we've got 2 albums to tour off then. And it's turned out absolutely amazing, and we're all over the moon with it.
How good is it to still have KK and this band being able to put out music and still continue on with it? Because it's got to be a great feeling to see him come back, take that hiatus, still have that fuel in his body to still continue to do this with you guys.
And he's still got it as well, man. You guys, we've been playing some shows out in Europe, and like I look over the other side of the stage every night and I see KK running around like he's 21 years old still, man. And I'm like, God damn, I hope I'm like that when I'm 70, you know what I mean? Like, I'm having to keep up with him. I'm thinking I need to get myself a treadmill.
That's pretty sad, AJ.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, but has he made you a better guitarist? Has he taught you stuff, man, that nobody else probably would have showed you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, KK has molded me as a guitar player for the best part of the last 20 years, man. Like, you know, he's known me from when I was 17 years old, and I always used to play guitar by ear and by feel. And KK taught me how to understand the scales on the neck and the different modes to play in. And I've become basically my tutor and molded me into the player I am today.
So you're the mini KK of the group.
I guess so.
Do you feel the new album had to come out strong for the band after that 2021 debut album, Sermons of the Sinner, or no?
Anything that KK Downing's going to put out, and Tim Ripper Owens is in the band as well, has got to be strong. So there's a certain level of expectation anyway, then pressure among the fans. So KK is never going to not put something out that isn't full on, you know, and killer.
So I got to know this, though. I know you said that during COVID, you guys got these 2 albums together, but how did the band approach this new album when you first started writing on it and getting ideas for it? Was it just a continuation of that debut album with this one?
Yeah, I guess it was really. Like I said to you before, there was nothing else for us to do as well because we couldn't go out and play. So we figured, let's just put out another record. And it was so soon after the first one. It was a continuation from the first one because the last album actually ended with Return of the Sentinel. I don't know if you've heard the new record yet.
I just heard the tracks, just these 3 tracks.
Cool. Well, the first track on this new record is The Sons of the Sentinel. So it does kind of continue from the first record, and that's pretty awesome.
But how difficult was that for you guys to sit there and be like, look, we've got these albums, we can't do nothing with them? I mean, it had to be very frustrating as a group.
I mean, for me personally, yeah, it was pretty torturous because I was just itching to get out there and play. But I mean, the rest of the guys were pretty patient. I think that's the that was a good saving grace for everybody, really, that everyone could just knuckle down and do another record, because I, for one, would have gone absolutely crazy just sat at home doing nothing.
Sure.
Like millions of others around the world who couldn't do anything. It was a bad time.
And here's another thing too, man, and I've said this many times. It's like, yeah, you could do an album during COVID, but is your mindset still going to be there when it opens back up and be like, we still want to put this out? Because I mean, you could be sick of that and be like, I don't want to go back down that road. I want something fresh. Yeah,
no, I completely understand what you're saying, man. So it was a good thing for us to do 2 records rather than just the one.
Got plenty of material to travel on, man. Plenty of material. Did the band add anything differently on this new album, AJ, musically, than what fans are accustomed to hearing from KK's Priest, or no?
I mean, personally, I contributed, co-wrote 2 songs on this record with KK. So you got a little bit of something different there with somebody else coming in and putting their ideas in. I do believe this second album is a lot darker than the first album as well, which is pretty cool.
Is that a breath of fresh air for you, though, to help write and co-wrote on this, though, like that?
It's a huge privilege.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty cool. Because, I mean, like I said to you before, KK already comes to the table with all the ideas for pretty much the whole album. And then because of this, I was able to come home and do stuff here and contribute to it. So KK does all the hard work, really. I can't really take much credit, you know. But I was able to contribute a little bit to this record, which is pretty cool.
Do you feel this album continues holding the torch for classic metal just as its predecessor did, man?
Absolutely, I do 100% believe that, yes.
How crucial is that for you guys? Because I know KK's from the old school of the thrash metal, heavy metal, stuff like that, but how crucial is that for him to still stay true to those roots?
I think he just does it naturally. You know, I mean, it's in his blood at the end of the day. It's in all of the band's blood, this classic heavy metal style, you know. I don't think he tries to do it. I just think it oozes out of him naturally.
How's the fans' feedback been on the release of these new singles? What have you seen that's came back that still fuels your fire and knows that this genre, man, is still thriving?
I was just speaking to somebody else before you in another interview saying, isn't it great to see in the last 10, 15 years, the resurgence of the classic heavy metal sound? Because for years and years, it was on the canvas, really, when you had bands like Korn and Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, and all those guys coming through.
Sure.
It was a difficult time for classic heavy metal. And I do think it helps these days, like with the with what kids are watching on TV, like Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, all these type of TV series things are pushing out the classic heavy metal as well and teaching the younger generation what it's all about. So it's a great time for heavy metal right now.
I've always said, man, when you see Rob Halford still pounding it out, and now you've got KK's Priest still doing their thing,
yeah,
it's not going to die, folks. They're not going away anytime soon.
It's not going anywhere, is it? Heavy metal. It's awesome.
And I've always said it's like a revolving door. It comes and goes. It's an odd thing with music these days, especially with heavy metal and everything that fits into it. It's just a weird thing these days.
It is, man. But it's just awesome that it's still out there and at the forefront. You know, I absolutely love it. My kids love heavy metal. My daughter's 9, my son's 6, and they've got heavy metal on all the time. You know, it's really cool to see. It reminds me of when I was a kid.
It's good parenting, AJ.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. What led the track One More Shot at Glory to be that first song released off this album? What was it about that song that said, yeah, we need to go with that first?
I mean, that's more of a question for KK, really. But I can give you my perspective of it, is that it's a very strong song. You know, you've got the message of one more shot at glory, that he's back again for, you know, to give you some kick-ass heavy metal. I think it made sense to release that song as well first because of this. The riffs are heavy as hell. It's catchy as hell. Lots of melody. Just a badass track.
And plus, you've got Tim Ripper Owens, man. I've said that anybody that gets him tagged with a group is you've got a good one right there for sure.
Man, you've got to say right now, Tim is absolutely on fire, and I don't think he's ever sounded better than he does right now. He sounds absolutely killer, man. For me, he's up there, #1 metal vocalist in the world right now.
I was going to say too, on these 3 singles, it seems like his vocals have gotten more powerful. They're more, there's more conviction in his vocals, if that makes sense.
I absolutely agree with you. I don't know where the hell it come from. Like, you know, he's always been a great heavy metal singer. You know, he's always been personally one of my top 3 singers of all time for heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
But now he just seems to have gone through the stratosphere and hit another level.
Was there a track for the album, AJ, that totally ended up sounding different than what it was intended to? Was there one that kept changing or no?
Not to my memory, no. I think everything stuck to the script as it should have done. You know, there was a clear plot set out with the record, with the songs and everything, and we all stayed on track and went with it, man. Yeah, I can't think of anything that sounded completely different, to be honest, now.
Look, I know these songs are your guys' babies. I know you've got two on here that you've done yourself. So are there any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this album? Are there any that stick out for you personally?
I can't, honestly, mate, I can't pick one. I really can't. I've tried a lot. Like, I'll be listening to it when I'm at home or in the car, and I'll go, oh, that's my favorite today. And then the next day it's completely different, you know. Like, my favorite today was Keeper of the Graves, for example. But then yesterday it was Rip the Whirlwind. So I can't stick to a favorite song, or it's like asking you to choose a favorite child.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And when you don't get sick of your own music, you know you've got something good.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah.
Any songs that did not make this album, we can see on another album, EP, or just maybe a standalone single down the road, say, hey, we're still here.
I don't think there was any leftovers, to be honest with you. I think what was presented to the table all ended up being on the record. I really can't think of anything else. Like, and I was there from the start, man. Honestly, I can't think of any tracks that was, no, they all made it.
Is the track listing placement important for your guys' album releases?
Yeah, I mean, again, KK is the leader and the captain of all that. He sorts everything out from the track listing, track orders, everything. And we all put our utmost faith and trust in him because he's done this God knows how many times before with so many classic heavy metal records, heavy metal songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can back up what he's saying. So we all just go, yeah, go ahead, KK. You know what you're doing. So we're the lucky ones, really. We got it pretty easy.
For the most part, is it a collaborative effort, or does just one person usually take the lead for writing on this? And how shocked were you when you was approached to say, hey, I want you to help me on these 2 songs?
Yeah, so, I mean, KK is 100% the captain and the leader, but he's also got his ears open to everybody else in the band, and everybody's allowed their say on something and their opinion. He's like a very, very fair person. And it was only because I came to him with some ideas I had when I'd heard what he was already doing with the album, and I presented them to him. He listened to them and he was like, yeah, we're on the same page. This will work. And that's how that came. He didn't like single a few tracks out to me and say, can you write something for this? Okay. I came to him with the ideas, and he blessed them and put them through.
What does each of you bring to this band that makes that chemistry just work? Because, I mean, you can hear it on an album, and especially with these 3 tracks and the previous one, I mean, it's just so smooth with you guys. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, I think we all bring a lot of hunger and energy to the fold, and that's just so important to when you're building a metal machine, that we're all firing on the cylinders together and kicking ass together, basically.
what's the growth musically you've seen from everybody working on these two albums that impresses you the most, if anything, as a band? I know that you've seen a lot that's went into this, but musically for each of you, what's the growth you've seen from everybody?
Just the fact that everybody wants to push themselves to the next level all the time. Even KK, you know, even with his years of experience and what he's done, he still will push himself another level, and it's so impressive to see. And the whole band does that as well. Like I mentioned Tim earlier, going to a next level with his vocals and everything. Like everybody else in the band, you know, Sean, Tony, myself, we all want to do better all the time and just push ourselves to that next level.
And you said something right there, man. Look at the years under KK's belt.
Yes.
And the man is still wanting to learn. He still has that, you know, that hunger to learn more guitar stuff. And I mean, you know, I've always said, when the day that you could become stale and you're like, I'm okay with it, just stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive, really, isn't it, dude, when you think about it, that he's still got that hunger and that desire to keep going and churning out metal masterpieces after masterpieces, you know. One thing I will say, another thing about KK Downing is his attention to the small details. It's like otherworldly, something I've never experienced in my life with anybody else. He's just got this mad, fine detail attention thing. It's crazy, man.
You're a guitarist, and you'll know exactly what I mean when I say this. You know, you don't even have to have the album on. You can just be somewhere out in public and hear the music going, and you know what guitarist is playing because of their sound.
Yes, yeah.
And KK's got that sound, man. He's got that distinct sound where you could be anywhere and hear and be like, that's KK Downing. What the fuck?
And that's the sign of the true greats, isn't it? When you can hear them and you know who it is, even if you don't really know the song so much, you know. You got your KK Downings, your Van Halens, Zakk Wyldes, Dimebag Darrell.
Yes.
You know as soon as you hear those notes being hit, you know who the guitar player is, and there's a few drummers that have got it as well, which is pretty awesome, where you can hear. I mean, it's a lot harder for the drums as well, I believe. But, you know, you hear Alex Van Halen or Vinnie Paul or John Bonham or anybody, and you can automatically tell that's them on the drums. And it's the sign of the true greats.
And, you know, I'm going to throw this out here. Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. You know, I mean, it's like, wow. And I'm glad people pick that up, because it like you said, it's very hard to have that distinct sound.
It's the sign of the greats, mate.
I agreed 1,000% with you, AJ. So Andy Pilkington, I hope I said his name right, did the album artworks. Did he get exactly what you guys wanted?
Yeah, absolutely, and more. Yeah, he's a great artist. You know, he's done us proud on 2 records now, and we're really happy with. He can absolutely understand the vision that's been set out from the start, and he can conjure up what everybody can see from the start. So it's pretty damn cool.
All right, man. Now we're just going to focus on AJ. We're going to get KK's Priest out the window for just a few questions here, because I like to know about AJ here.
Okay.
If you could write an album equivalent to your favorite band's album, which album would that be? And I know you probably have a ton of them, but what album would you say that if I could write an album, I want to write one just like that?
That's the hardest question I've ever been asked in my life, I think.
Oh, that's going in my reel. That's going in my reel.
Yeah, you can stick that right in your reel, mate.
That's good though, man. I like those questions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never thought to myself, I wish I'd have wrote that album. Or are you asking me like the impact it's had, or?
Well, no, like if in KK's Priest or whatever, or if you're doing something on your own, if you could write something equivalent to that album, I mean, is there one that you want to come close to, possibly? That you wish you had something? I wish I wrote like Vulgar Display of Power from Pantera. If I could write something just equivalent to that, maybe.
I mean, the impact that album had on the heavy metal community was huge, wasn't it? Because they had done the Cowboys from Hell album before, which completely was a game changer. And then they were able to follow it up with Vulgar Display of Power, which was an absolute heavy metal heavyweight. You know, yeah, I mean, that is the toughest question I've ever been asked, because there's so many great we've been blessed with so many great heavy metal records and the impact they've had on the music we love so much. It's hard, you know. It was the same with Metallica when they dropped Ride the Lightning, you know. That was a game changer as well. You know, Judas Priest when they did Stay in Class, you know, that was a game. There's just so many records that's been Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden. You could just go on and on and on and on.
Let me ask you your opinion about the Pantera album, though. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that at that time that saved metal?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because it was a tough time for heavy metal. I mean, Rob Halford had left Judas Priest. Bruce Dickenson had left Iron Maiden. You know, all the grunge thing was coming through and the new metal and everything. And there was only Pantera flying the flag for heavy metal.
Right. Yeah.
And I do believe they are owed a lot of credit for holding the fort down for us guys who love heavy metal, you know, releasing their albums.
I want to say this right now, and people's going to hate me when I say this, but that's fine. But this is the facts that I saw. At that time, when Pantera was coming out with Vulgar Display of Power, Metallica had the Black Album out, and it had already been out for like maybe 2 or 3 years at that time, maybe.
Yeah.
So when Pantera heard that, they're like, we've got to do something to save metal.
Yeah.
So without the Black Album, there'd be no Vulgar Display of Power. So let that sink in, folks.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I do love the Black Album as well.
Oh, yeah. It is very heavy.
A lot of stick, you know, the people say, oh, And Justice for All was the last great Metallica record and all this, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Black Album is a masterpiece, personally. Brilliant album.
But I think Metallica evolved, and if that makes sense and people don't like what I say, that's fine. But I mean, you've got to open your ears and understand, and AJ will vouch for me on this. It's a business. I mean, everything evolves, and sometimes if you don't evolve with that, you get left behind. But I understand that there's a true genre of stuff out there, but that band just evolved and took it to another level, I think.
I agree with you 100%, mate. I've got no bad feelings towards that record, only good feelings, man. I think it's probably, I'm going to piss a lot of people off now, but it's probably my favorite Metallica records, the Black Album. And I love all their repertoire, you know, like Ride the Lightning comes a close second for me.
Oh,
but I do love the Black Album.
Master of Puppets is my anthem.
There you go. Yeah, keep them coming.
Dude, that album saved my life, and it's dark. You never know. It's so strange, man. You never know how important music can be to you when you actually need it in your life. And that album said everything for me, did everything for me. It let me escape. I mean, it was my anthem of everything that I was going through. And that, to me, that's a masterpiece of an album. Fleming Rasmussen, I mean, those guys caught lightning in a fucking bottle.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty of it, isn't it, mate? You've just nailed it on the head. So it means to you personally, you know, everybody can interpret the albums and the music to what they think, how it hits with them, you know, and you just absolutely explained it beautifully, what it did for you, you know, and I thought that's how it goes. That's the beauty of our heavy metal, you know. It can hit people like that. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, isn't it cool? Like we said before, how Stranger Things has come out and all these new TV. And then you got Master of Puppets on there with that the guy, Eddie, was it his name?
I think so. Yeah.
Eddie Munson or something. And he's just brought it back to the youth. The young kids now are all ripping Master of Puppets.
Well, just like you said, I mean, everything is coming back around Whirlwind wide. I mean, it's just like a resurgence of it. And I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Love it.
Yeah. The kids are getting to know the real deal now.
Look, I know you've played a lot of shows with KK Priest. You've done a lot of things in your musical history here, but what's been your most memorable show that you cannot believe that you've been a part of that still sticks in your mind today? And I know you've done a lot of stuff. I mean, there's got to be one or two that be like, I can never top that.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a lot of special moments for me in my career for sure. But the one recent one was when I actually played for the first time with KK Downing in Wolverhampton, and David Ellefson from Megadeth as well was on the bass, and Ripper was singing, and Les Binks was on the drums. I can remember I looked up at one point to the right of me, and I could see Dave Ellefson and KK Downing rocking out together, and then Ripper got in the middle of them, and he's rocking out with him. And then I turn around, I can see Les Binks on the drums, and it hit me like a 10-ton hammer. Bang! I was like, holy shit, I'm on stage with these metal icons. You know, I got up here. How cool is that, man? You know, and I got quite emotional, and then I had to bring myself back together and rock out, you know. Yeah.
It kind of takes you back to that moment when you're when you are in your bedroom and you got all these posters on your wall and you're looking around and it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's funny. My big brother actually said that to me, like, and he put it in one of his statuses on his social media. It was like, my brother had all these guys on his wall as a kid, and now he's on stage with them, rocking out with them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How great is that, dude? I mean, that brings it all back and well worth it to the forefront for you.
Mate, there's no words, honestly. Like, I do realize how lucky I am, and but at the same time, I put the work in as well, you know, to get there. So, yeah, I'm still very grateful every day I'm in this opportunity, and I love it, and I'm absolutely living my best life right now because I'm on this road, you know.
I like seeing the happiness in you, man. I love seeing everybody who comes on here that stands behind their albums, and you can tell they're very, very happy, genuinely about their music, and I can tell that. So congratulations to you all, man, honestly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, folks. KK's Priest will release their second album titled The Sinner Rides Again on September 29th via Napalm Records. AJ, my friend, how can folks stay in touch with KK's Priest, buy this new album, everything under the sun for KK's Priest? How can he do that, sir?
Yeah, just do the usual, man. Stick to the social medias. The KK's Priest Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the website. I think it's now kkdownofficial.com. Yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. We've got some really exciting, cool stuff coming up, and we can't wait to be playing in a town near you soon as well, and kicking some ass all together.
Yes, sir. AJ, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
No problem, dude. Hey, this is AJ from KK's Priest, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these awesome interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please check out our Facebook page. There's our podcast link and our YouTube link that I hope you guys and gals will subscribe to, because I love bringing these interviews to you guys. If you can't tell that in my interviews, then I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know. KK's Priest will release their second album titled The Sinner Rides Again on September 29th via Napalm Records. Please get out and check these guys out if you have not. Tim Ripper Opens and KK and all these guys, man, they are keeping thrash metal, heavy metal true to their roots, and they're still around, and thank God for that. So, AJ, my friend, thank you so much for this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother, man. I look forward to coming out to the States and seeing you guys soon.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.